How have you seen credit unions' use of AI evolve over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know like credit unions aren't necessarily the bleeding edge, right? There's been some really interesting use cases. So we've had a couple different credit unions that work with us that I think have done some really neat stuff, specifically with AI and actually testing it out against, let's say, an internal team. So for MSU-FCU had a really interesting one where they tried to figure out what was it was sort of a next best product sort of situation where they really were trying to grow deposits. And they let the marketing team do their magic using a human being, and then they used our AI model, and it outperformed the marketing team to their surprise. About 4-to-1 ratio. So the deposits from using the AI model to figure out what to offer them, so whether it was a CD or a better interest rate or something in order to garner more deposits, was a substantial difference. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, that's wild. Yeah. I'm sure you could do that in the lending space too.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So I think you also have this notion of like augmented AI, where it's not just using artificial intelligence to figure out an answer. It's more working with like an assistant, and that assistant is an AI where it can help you or I or a teller or an employee or do their job better to better serve the member.
Sure.
This idea of having instead of having them go hunting and pecking trying to find the way to replace a card or whatever the request is of the customer, you can have the AI listening in the background to the conversation and automatically prompting here's this information.
Wow.
Directly popped up in front of you, and it just makes what would normally be a good employee a great employee. It makes them just have all that information at their fingertips. So I think that's what we're going to see a lot more of. Certainly there's a lot of buzz in the air about ChatGPT, and it may be dying down a bit, but I think figuring out what those good use cases are and the things that will really move the needle in terms of improving business and improving outcomes for customers.
Yeah. And looking ahead, say 5 years or so, how do you see AI evolving in credit unions?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the crystal ball, right? If I did, we maybe make some extra money figuring that out. But to some extent, I mentioned it a little bit. I think what we will see is this more of the idea of augmenting capability and improving, not only employees' lives but also customers' lives. But in terms of taking away menial tasks that are repetitive in nature and error prone, in terms of people getting tired, and a computer doesn't get tired, right? It doesn't need to sleep, and it as long as it's programmed, to do the right thing, it will continue to do that same thing over and over and over again, without error. So I think it's just going to be more, put it that way. I think we're just dipping our toe into the water right now, and that's going to accelerate for sure.